What are the best Yu-Gi-Oh strategies for the new attribute event? Today, chat and I, we built a couple of decks, but we're also going to be looking at some fan decks and talking about if they can be viable enough. Let's go ahead and jump on in. What? Holy crap. What's going on with y'all, big dogs? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your Master Duel career is careering. But if it isn't, just remember, there are players stuck in bronze, so don't give it up. Today, big dogs, we are going to be going over the best Master Duel decks for the attribute event. I actually have decks for everyone, for every attribute, what I think are the best. But before we do, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the fan builds, which I think are going to be amazingly hilarious. Here we have Jose Seconds, an ABC deck. All right, so it looks like he's playing ABC. Wait, hold on, brother. Ash, Droll, this is an event. Oh my God. Yu-Gi-Oh players are the prime example of cannot read. Delta Laser is playing his Galaxy Eyes deck, a light deck. Okay. All right, so for the light event, we're going to be playing Galaxy Eyes. I wouldn't say that this is the most optimal with 3 Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragons, bro. It's not Blue Eyes, but this is a playable strategy. That is one of those decks is pretty good. He has a picture of me in the corner, chat. Look, it's literally me telling him, brother, no, what are you doing? Stop, no. So not event, chat. So not event. Bro, it even has me laughing. He's still coping. Brother's still coping. No. Okay, some of these don't. Bro, what goblin monster are you summoning? No, chat. No, goblin zombie is a goblin. He's summoning goblin zombie in 2025, brother. Watch out. I will.
Gabonga.
This, yo, yeah. You're definitely a zombie by now. All right, we have Canadian in his not legal deck. He's going to be incredibly upset when he tries to play this for a bit, right? Hey, yo, Melodious might be a really good deck, guys. I think this might be one of those ones. I didn't think about that one. This is an all-white Yu-Gi-Oh deck with Niv. It has Herald. It has Effect Veiler, Dominus, and Imperm. One of the strongest decks that you can use inside of the event. I like it. I absolutely like it. Really, really good deck. Tamias, you're editing this video, brother. Brother, who took this photo? He did it with a Nokia flip phone. What are you doing? Terra Tangula decided to pick Magispectors, and I genuinely pray for him. I really do. I have nothing but hopes and prayers your way, my brother. Next, we have Bossman, the only guy that I think will win less games than the Magispector player. He's playing Sharks. Copium. I can smell the copium. This is my deck. You little thieving POS, brother. He took our deck. Yo, he's a thief. And the last person is Pedro. And I gotta say, look. I'm not gonna say we forgot the water decks, but this is our water deck that I'm gonna show you guys, right? Hands down, best water deck that you should be playing, because there is less hand traps and this deck can actually do things. Ice Barrier's best water deck. You heard it from Cali in 2025. All right, so you're probably wondering, what are the decks that I am playing? We have Dinomorphia. I thought personally that this was the best dark deck that you can pick. Granted, you could play Tier Limit, right? Because for some reason, they decided to put water and dark together. The problem with Tier Limit without the shufflers is the deck becomes a little bit more volatile, right? It's not bad. It just isn't as successful when you can't control your mills. The benefits of Dinomorphia is that this deck is incredibly strong when going first. You almost guaranteed to win if you combo, and there should be less Ash Blossom in Joyous Spring. Next, we have Drytron, which also is an equally as expensive deck, but there's some really good benefits for Drytron, right? I think Drytron is really good because it plays through hand traps. It plays a decent amount of hand traps. It's the light deck and probably one of the best light decks in the game. Oh, they actually did a good job. If this card wasn't banned, I would probably say Drytron meta, nothing else, right? So they did a pretty good job of checking the cards that needed to be checked. But still, Drytron is incredibly strong because its main deck boss monster is Meteoronus Draco. And when this deck goes uninterrupted or less interrupted, that would probably happen in regular Master Duel, it's going to do some numbers. This is easily one of the best decks. The benefits is that you're going to play almost uninterrupted, and even when you do get interrupted, it's typically not enough. We have Madolche here as our next deck, and it's really hard to find a good Earth deck, right? Because we wanted to build Adamanticators, right? And we realized that the crystals were not Earth. And then somebody told me to build Earth Machine, which I don't think I've seen an Earth Machine deck since 2020. Madolche probably is your strongest Earth deck. The downside, it is another one of those very expensive decks. But the upsides are crazy. Madolche is one of the only competitive Yu-Gi-Oh deck that can recycle its hand traps. If you combine the Madolche Chateau with the effect of your Madolche Glace Souffle, you can recycle back your orange lights and effect veilers and be able to use them again here. This originally was going to be Dragoonity, and let's face it, guys, there are pretty much zero good win decks. Like Harpies are not good, chat. I couldn't tell you the game plan for Harpies. Lyrilusc Tri-Brigade, I would say it's a decently cheap deck. Another thing about this deck is that it's good in events. So Tamias said that this deck was pretty good in a lot of events, and that pretty much rings true. I agree with him. It also has good OTK potential through the Assembled Nightingale. You don't need too many ultra rares to be able to use this deck. So I would have to say that this is one of the better decks and probably is hands down, no debate, the best wind deck. I don't think we'll be getting a lot of wind representation unless there somehow becomes a lot of Speedroid in wind-rich players. The last deck, the best deck. I might rage quit playing Solid because when we were building this deck, we were trying to find cards that were hit here. Now, of course, some people will probably think immediately Snake Eyes for this deck. And the reason why Snake Eyes simply won't work is that you can build a pure Snake Eyes deck, but pure Snake Eyes would fail into comparison when you have to run the Azamina engine. You may have to run Kashtira cards. You may have to run these other cards. Those don't work. And the Fire King version, I don't think Fire King is bad, but you got Kieran limited to 1. And Kieran limited to 1 feels like a problem, because Kieran semi-limited is a problem. So it to 1, I think that's huge. But with Solomon Great, there's pretty much no cards that are banned that are Solomon Great specific. The only card you really lose out on is Cyber's Wicked. But other than that, you have a fully playable Solomon Great deck, which I think is insane. I think that that's probably one of the best decks. You get access to cards like Ash Blossom. You get access to cards like Promethean Princess. Keep in mind, out of all of the attributes, Fire is probably the most supported attribute as of recent, where dark decks have all either been slaughtered or just no longer good. Fire has the most support and are some of the strongest decks in the entire game. But that's pretty much all that we have for the best decks for the event. Of course, I want to hear what you guys have to say about what are some of the best decks. There's probably some decks that you guys missed. And of course, if you have some decks that you want to post in the Discord and have fun with, go ahead and join the Discord. But until then, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Thank you so much for watching.